Hello everyone, this is Bradley. So today we're going to talk about this walking man animation, in which we're going to use a technique called dynamic surface sampling. I've talked about major principles in the past, so today we're going to focus on the preset usage. You can download these presets for free from the link in the description. So let's start. So here in Blender, let's create actually I have a rig. Yes, I have a walking man rig done by Maximal. So we just need to create a plane and we import this rigging geometry into the nodes so that I can visualize that. And we basically just distribute stuff on it. So we can use the point distribute. You can use either on face or the presets so that you can set the amount instead of density. Here I actually want to talk about different versions related to this topic. Currently, whatever we're doing here is procedural, and we can instance whatever things possible, especially when we are using the dynamic surface sampling. But there is one condition that you do not really need this technique. That is if you are doing hair. Okay, so we have this rigging model, and if you keep selecting this mesh and you hit Shift A, then you will see there is a empty hair option, and then you are adding a hair object. If you do not select the mesh, then you will not be able to select this. Okay, so once we have this kind of a hair curve, then you will see there is an automatic node tree being created, which is called a deform curve on surface. Okay, and of course, there are some settings about the surface, UV map. You do not need to worry about that, but you do not really know how to use it. The method is pretty simple, that you goes to hair object, and there's actually sculpt mode in which you can add these hairs. So basically what you can do is just to brush, and you can add the counts and just keep adding these hairs. And you will find that this hair will actually be deformed as this character is moving. Okay, so this is kind of built-in dynamic surface sampling, which using UV and surface, whatever stuff. Okay. What I want to say is that this is not really procedural, but it's a way of doing. It finally depends on which kind of methods do you prefer. Okay. But today I'm not going to use this method, so I'm going to hide these hair objects for the moment. We will come back to this hair later. For now, I want to really working with this procedural geometry. So let's point instance. And we can take this random object collection and we separate the children's. We plug that into the instance and we pick instance. So every point is getting an instance from this collection. And we scale that down by 10. So now we have this walking man of whatever stuff, and you see there are some glitches because we are generating new points as this man is walking, or the geometry is deforming itself. So we basically need a dynamic surface sampling, and I just put the geometry. In this case, these are points, and I need to sample a dynamic state. So I need a surface. So now I have this walking man, but you do not really see any glitches. This is so-called dynamic surface sampling, and I want to rotate all these kind of thing along with the surface, so I put rotations into rotations. So finally it becomes something like this, and you can replace this collection with anything. For example, I have a flower and a glass collection, taking the asset from Blender Foundation, and I separate the children. We do not see object because these are too tiny, so you just increase the scale. Finally, we have a kind of a walking man. You can instance anything you want bolts, electricity, hairs. Okay, so this is kind of idea. Talking about hair, these are basically curved objects. So we take a curved linear so that we have this straight line lying on the ground. So we do not center that and make that onto the z-axis. And I plug this curve into the instance without picking instance. Otherwise, you will have this error. It says realize the geometry. No. Okay, and then we realize instance so that we can access these curve points. Let's decrease the length of these kind of hairs. So we basically get what we get previously from this surface deform. The only difference is that we do not need to paint anything, and we can change the seed if you want. Okay. Of course, you can use the selection to determine which parts you really grow these hairs. I believe this hair man is not existing in the real world. But anyway, so next I want to drag these hairs using gravities. So we basically use a spline parameter, which goes from root to tip to form a value from 0 to 1. So here I'm going to use this vector to combine x, y, z, and you will see that they dragged up by value of 1. So here I'm going to take a float curve and I'm going to remap this 0 to 1 to change the magnitude a little bit. You can see now these are going upwards a little bit, but I'm going to add some curvature and then I'm going to decrease the value. So this is kind of cheating method, but you finally get sort of kind of result that these hairs are dropping on the ground. You can definitely do more things to make it more realistic, but that's not the topic today. What I want to discuss is how can you fake some dynamics. Basically, what I'm going to do is just to add some noise. So we take another set position. The reason I'm doing is that because I want the position attributes inside to move with the movement of our initial geometry and also this spline parameter effect. Okay, and then we take this noise 3D, which is really just a noise texture. As you can see, there are lots of similarity between factor, color, scale is the frequency, detail, roughness, distortion, and so on. Okay, the rest is just a simple math, plus, minus, and multiply, whatever. Okay, and I plug these colors into the offset. You can see there is an immediate distortion occurring, and you can see there is actually a kind of a pattern somehow. This is actually our noise. You can make it more obvious if you try to use the frequency. Then you can see there is more distortion, but you can also see that it becomes very ugly. So you want to keep this frequency low, but keep the frequency low, you will see this kind of weird distortion. This is because everything is using the same noise. And if you're looking at a plane, maybe 1515, then this is how this noise actually looks like. You can see there is a patterns. This red color, this green color. So these are the patterns we actually see for our hairs as well. Okay, so how can we make it more random while do not increase the frequency? The method is very simple. You just give different seed for different splines. So we take a spline info. So we get a spline index, which is the index on spline domain. So you get a spline index, and you plug this spline index to the seed, so that every spline is getting a different seed. Okay, so you remove the patterns, and the rest is to play around the settings, frequencies, and so on. Okay, as you can see, even if you increase the frequencies, the change is very abrupt for every spline because they're using a different seed. But you don't really have ugly splines. But anyway, okay. And because the default position is moving inside, So you're expected to see some kind of wiggling. It may not be very obvious, but let's plug this spline parameter into the fourth so that the root stays at the same position, and then increase the scale of your noise. Then you can see there is some wiggling occur. Okay, so you change parameters, change scales. So you can see there are some which seems to be a kind of a dynamic thing, but it's completely fake. There's one more thing that you can do is you take a time info node and evaluate our noise. So you should see this kind of dynamics better, but everything is essentially fake. There's no real dynamics and no simulation occur. And you can increase the resolution of your curve as well. If it's 3, it becomes very jagged, but you can increase the resolution to make it more smooth. Okay, and at last is about rendering. You can render by using this bevel curve to give it kind of a volume, but it can be very slow depending on how many hairs you actually have. So as an alternative method is that we are going to use this hair object. So we are going to use our original tree to replace this surface deform, so that now our curve is showing as hair. Okay, and that's basically it. You go to material preview mode, you can see you can render these hairs. If you want to give it a thickness or you want to smooth it out, you just increase the amount of subdivision. You can make it into a strip, and then you can set curve radius to make it thicker or thinner. And it's kind of very fast operation, much better than bevel curve because it does not really generate many polygons as this bevel curve. Okay, so this is basically all about it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll probably see you next time. Bye bye.